Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Food Experience. Today's experience, the kind folks at Vevor sent me this 14-inch electric flat-top griddle to review. I'm pretty stoked. Apparently, they watched my review of their 21-inch version, which I bought and paid for all on my own. They liked my videos with the 21, so they sent me the 14 for evaluation and comparison. It comes with 2 metal spatulas with wood handles and 2 basting brushes. It requires a power outlet providing 110 or 120 volts at 1500 watts, which will utilize 12.5 amps. So you need to make sure if you have it on a shared circuit, you have 12.5 amps left over to be able to run this device. The power cord is a 3-prong cord. Make sure you have the proper outlet for it. And the length of the cord is 59 inches, which is not too bad at all. It features a 410 stainless steel body and cast iron cooking surface. Temperature control range between 122 and 572 Fahrenheit. I don't have the exact specs on the trough, but it has a nice sized trough right here where everything could run off and conveniently go down into the grease trap. It also has a drawer right here which will contain all the grease and or food particles that you need to scrape off, and it's easy to pull out and remove and then clean it out and put it back in. Featuring 2-inch splash guards all the way around. The cooking plate dimensions are 14.1 inches from left to right, and from back to front it is 11.8 inches. The thickness of the cooking surface is 0.3 inches or 8 millimeters. Weight is 22 pounds. It normally retails for $109 over at Vevor.com. However, sometimes if you get lucky, they'll have it on sale. Like right now, I noticed it's on sale for right around $80. Also, if you are going to purchase it, make sure to look at my description. I have customized links there so that when you purchase a product with my links, they know it came from my channel. And I would greatly appreciate that. There's also a 5% discount code in my description. In this video, I'm taking you up and close, show you how the seasoning went, and then do some time and temperature comparisons with the 14 compared to the 21. And wait till you see how hot this thing really gets. And without further ado, here we go. Here's a look at the Vevor 14-inch griddle. It had a piece of paper on the surface. I removed it, but it has manufacturing oil and it really needs to be cleaned first. Has a nice thick ironclad surface that stays hot. Using Dawn dishwashing detergent, make sure not to use too much. A little bit of water and start scrubbing away. And all that manufacturing oil will come off with that little bit of soap. I mean, that's like plenty of soap. You saw what I put down. Make sure to get the sides as well. And then rinse it off with some water. Start wiping it down with a paper towel. And I would repeat this step with the paper towel in the water until there is no visible detergent left. One last time, that ought to do it. Time to season the griddle, and I'm dialing it up all the way. I really like that they provide you with 2 spatulas, and not only 2 spatulas, but they have these nice beveled edges. Makes it really easy to flip burgers and get underneath things. Right now I'm about 10 minutes in, and when I measured the temperature, I'm getting close to around 200 degrees. As it is heating up, you'll notice it starts to brown, and that's going to spread more and more as it heats up. As you can see, after about 5 minutes, you can see it's definitely starting to blacken more. The browning is spreading out. Just put down some oil, and I have a rolled up kitchen towel, one that is lint free. You don't want anything to leave lint. And I don't like using paper towels, they leave a lot of residue. But I wiped the sidewalls, the top, thin layer of oil, put a little bit more. As you can see, it's pretty much smoking as soon as it hits. I have it turned up about 500 degrees right now. Yeah, and just spread it in nice and thin and let that smoke burn off. It'll definitely start to lessen, and once it does, you could repeat and put on another coat. Checked it again, and yeah, about 490. And the smoke is definitely lessening. Time to put on a little bit more oil. And you can see that thing screaming hot. I think the smoke point of this oil is around 450. And yeah, just make sure it's nice and thin, no puddles or anything like I mentioned, and it will burn off. As you see, the coverage for the browning and blackening has totally increased. Now that the towel has oil on it, no need to apply more, but just keep spreading it out. Do it over and over and over again. There's plenty of oil on that towel by now. Check this out. It's now at 590 degrees. Giving it another wipe down and then letting it burn off. I know you guys can't see it in the camera, but wow, 627 degrees. One last round ought to do it, and I'm telling you folks, this surface is blazing hot. That's about it. I'm turning it off, letting it cool down, and coming back with some bacon. Comparing the Vevor 14-inch and 21-inch griddles. Let's do a temperature and time check, turning both of them on simultaneously. All the way up. 80 degrees on that surface and about 78 on this one. I'm also starting a stopwatch. Time for a 5-minute checkup. The 14's at 294 right now, and the 21 is at about 230. So it is taking this one a little longer to heat up than this one. 10 minutes in. 490 off to the right and 377 on the left. 15 minutes in. 602 on this one. About 473 I'm getting on this side. 20 minutes in. They are both still heating up. The preheat light is still on. They're both also kind of smoking a little bit, as they're supposed to when the oil gets that hot. Wow, 658, 662 degrees I got on that one. And I'm at 530 degrees on this one. So at this point, I think I'll stop. They're still both heating up. Who knows how hot this one will get. This one definitely way exceeds the heat that it mentions it's supposed to be. I think it's around 578. Wow, it's almost 100 degrees hotter right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are again with the Vevor 14-inch griddle. I hope you guys like the up and close. Boy, does this thing get screaming hot or what? So I have some pros and I have some cons, as is with any product. The first con, the temperature control knob. It's in Celsius. It would be nice to see it in Fahrenheit, but either case, it really doesn't matter too much. The thing I noticed is no matter what I set it to in Celsius, it's not really going to that temperature. It's actually exceeding that temperature. Then it cuts off and cools down a little bit back and goes back up again. So what I recommend is getting an infrared heat gun like this. Pretty much should have this with any griddle setup anyways. What you could do is monitor the temperature of the griddle as it's heating up, and when it gets to the spot you want it to be at, go up a little bit more and then start turning back the knob until the preheat stops. And then you know it's going to stay right at that temperature. And really, that's the only negative thing I could say, even though I turned it into a positive just because of the way I utilize it and the way I recommend you guys utilize it as well. The only other thing are the basting brushes. They're free, I get it, but the kind with the bristles are kind of out of date. I don't really see a lot of people using them much anymore. I honestly think it would be preferable if they included one with silicone bristles like this. Even if they only included one instead of the two brushes, I think this would be a much better item. So let's go over the pros. They definitely outweigh the cons. The temperature. Wow, 662 degrees I got it to, and who knows, it could have climbed up even higher. I actually cut it off at that point, but it was still preheating. That is way hotter than you'd want to cook anything, but it's nice to know that it has that much overhead, right? As far as the time it takes to heat up, I think it does a great job. You saw my up and close. It heats up fairly quick. I really like that it has a cast iron surface. It is so easy to use and maintain. Just make sure it's oiled regularly. I showed you very, very, very thin layers, okay? Just make sure not to have any pools of oil. They will create problems. But if you know how to maintain a griddle, and there's plenty of YouTube videos for that, it's so easy to keep and maintain. I already mentioned it, and I'm gonna mention it again, the trough. plus the grease trap. It has a nice size opening right here. It's so easy to use and access, and the drawer comes out. It's a good way to collect and get rid of your grease. The power cord, I believe, is a decent size, even though I've purchased a 15 amp extension power cord, which I totally recommend. If you're going to use an extension cord, make sure it's a high amperage cord. The 2 included spatulas. I really like these things. I like the beveled edges. They're definitely nice and stiff and sturdy. They're not going to break on you. And they're great for flipping burgers and eggs or chicken breasts or whatever else you want to flip over. The beveled edges make it so easy to get right underneath there and flip it over. I've had the 21-inch Vevor Griddle for about 3/4 of a year now. I love the device. I use it every chance I could get. I'm more often using the griddle than I am any other kitchen accessory to heat up food. I mean, this really is the way to go. And with the 21 in that amount of time, 0 issues, not one at all. I was going to include some cooking examples in this video. However, that would have made this video way too long. So instead, I'll be posting a second video coming up probably tomorrow with some cooking examples showing you how easy it is to use. When you are cooking on it, just like any other kitchen appliance when you're cooking food, make sure to know what temperatures are best for whatever items you are cooking. For instance, eggs. I usually find it's best around 350 degrees. I usually let it heat up to around 360 and then I cut it back and I cook my eggs. Because if you go any bit hotter than that, it's going to be too hot and the eggs are going to brown and you're not really going to get the results you want. If you go even a little bit lower, it's even better. It may take longer to cook the eggs, but they'll maintain that nice yellow look. They won't get any browning to them. So you really have to find out what works best for you for whatever you are cooking. So that's really about it for this video. Again, make sure to look at my description. I have customized links that go back to their site so you can purchase and they know it's from my channel. Really appreciate you do that, folks, and I highly recommend the Vevor 14-inch flat top griddle. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please drop me a line below. I love hearing from you guys. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave. I got all kinds of good things coming up. And until next time, have a stellar day. Be excellent. And most of all, remember me, I am KJ Andy O, your food experience host with the most. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.